We've got a very interesting showdown for you today. On my right is the 2018 Subaru Impreza Sport, and on my left is the 2018 Mazda 3 GT. Now don't even start typing. I know you're already busy on your keyboard saying that this one is all-wheel drive and this one is front-wheel drive, so they really aren't competitors. But I'll tell you that you're wrong, or at least in my opinion you're wrong. These two cars kind of represent the underdog in the compact Japanese sedan market. But here in Quebec, these are two incredibly popular models. This one, because it's got all-wheel drive to get us through the snow, and this one has a lot of features going at a very competitive price point. So we do think that these cars are competitive in the fact that they offer to two different types of buyers that really have a big clash in the center when it comes to features. So we're going to be showing everything about these two cars, taking them both on a drive, and going over everything you need to know if you're in the market for compact sedans.
This showdown is looking to compare more price than features, as the two vehicles we have here are about $1,400 apart in their MSRPs, the Mazda 3 being fully loaded and the Impreza Sport with the optional EyeSight safety package. Up first for these compact sedans is the 2018 Subaru Impreza Sport. Subaru's approach with this vehicle is safety and reliability over luxuries and radical design. The adaptive front headlights are LED with standard halogen fog lights at the bottom. The EyeSight system incorporates a dual camera setup at the front of the headliner, which monitors the road ahead of you. This system brings adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and collision prevention technologies to the driver without the need of an external radar sensor that has the potential to be impeded by adverse weather conditions. Blind spot monitoring, rear backup camera, and cross-traffic alert are also included as safety features on the Impreza. The rest of the exterior is conservative, keeping with the traditional design of previous generations. Inside is where we'll find most of the differences between these two cars. The Subaru has high-quality cloth seating and a mostly plastic interior. The 8-inch infotainment screen comes with Sirius XM radio, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Navigation requires the Sport Tech trim, which would also add leather seating, dual-zone climate control, a heated steering wheel, and an 8-speaker Harman Kardon audio system, but would also add $2,900 to the price tag. We found the triple info screen setup to work quite well, allowing the driver to have music, fuel economy, or the EyeSight status on the top screen, while Apple CarPlay runs the infotainment display and trip information on the cluster computer. You do get a few other creature comforts at this price point, such as heated front seats, power windows, door locks, and mirrors, as well as air conditioning. Jumping over to the 2018 Mazda 3 GT with premium and technology packages, this vehicle is as loaded as it comes. On the outside, we find a full suite of LED lighting, including adaptive front headlights and LED fog lights. The Mazda badge on the front acts as the forward obstruction sensor for radar cruise control as well. The Mazda 3 also brings blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, and a backup camera with rear cross-traffic alert. The front end sports an active air shutter that will open or close depending on road and weather conditions to help with aerodynamics, and Mazda's G vectoring control helps to keep passengers level while cornering. Inside the Mazda 3, we find full leather seating along with leather door cards and center console trim. The 7-inch infotainment screen is smaller and doesn't feature Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but comes with navigation and Sirius XM radio. Additionally, features like dual-zone automatic climate control, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, and a 9-speaker Bose audio system are included with the premium and technology packages found on our test vehicle. You also get HomeLink and a color heads-up display, which aren't available on the Impreza. Now that we know about the exterior and interior features and differences, it's time to take these two compact sedans on a road test to see how the all-wheel drive Subaru compares to the more powerful 2.5-liter 184 horsepower Mazda 3.
Now we drove the Mazda 3 a little while ago, and this is the first time having the chance to drive the Subaru Impreza, and I know what people are going to say. I know you're already typing it into your keyboards to complain that the Mazda is not all-wheel drive, and it is true, but the really only other compact car, because we're not considering the Golf to be part of this segment, the Volkswagen Jetta. It's the only other one that comes with four-wheel drive at a non-premium or non-luxury segment price point. So the Subaru is really a vehicle that you can't really compare to everything because there's just nothing else with four-wheel drive. But let's pretend for a minute that we're going to be talking about the other things because really, no matter what I say about this car or the other Mazda 3 that we're featuring, it's always going to come down to the fact that this has all-wheel drive. And it's true, works very well in the snow. We have a little bit of snow here, but we've been kind of doing some driving around here and not necessarily getting it stuck in anything, but I do feel that it has better control in the snow, getting out of tight situations because it is a small car with four-wheel drive. It's a quite nice combination that you don't get with anything else. So that obviously is going to be a huge plus over the Mazda, but there are things about this car that you kind of need to take into consideration if you are looking at either the Mazda 3 or the Subaru Impreza and you think, geez, you know, that four-wheel drive is great, but what else do you get? You do have things like radar cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, the backup camera, and you do have backup sensors, which is something that you really can't get on a compact car either. So that is a plus that you don't get with the Mazda. You're going to be living with it too. Not everybody needs four-wheel drive. It is nice to have, but you might not need it in every situation. So you might be looking at things like the interior and the exterior. And this one is, I don't know, it's a little bit more utilitarian. The screen here in the center really is just a screen in the center. It does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay though, so that is a huge plus. You've got the second screen up top, which is kind of nice. You can cycle through things like your fuel economy and other information about your vehicle there. But those are really the two major things there. The rest of the interior though, you really have to live with it. And it really is kind of basic. It feels kind of plasticky. It's not overly uncomfortable. At least the armrest is at a good position, but it does feel a little bit lower and more like you're driving an older vehicle than you are in the Mazda. So there's a little bit of a difference with that. But overall, I mean, they are kind of the same size. I feel I have about the same size in this vehicle. To sit, same thing in the back. And the trunk actually might be a little bit bigger on this one. So you do have a little bit more space maybe in the trunk there. Also, the Mazda has a bigger engine at the GT trim. Now, if you get the lower trim, which kind of has the same features down here, then you're looking at the same type of 2-liter inline-4 engine, but the Mazda GT that we're featuring has the bigger engine, which kind of helps a little bit because I gotta say this feels a little underpowered, and that CVT transmission might not be the best for most people. It is kind of a little getting used to, especially with the flappy paddles. It doesn't really make sense to me to have flappy paddles and still have a CVT, but that's just me. I really enjoyed driving the Mazda 3 a few months ago when we had the chance to, and I think the only disappointment I had nothing to do with the car, but it was actually a lot of people who were complaining that I said I liked having the automatic transmission. And I really think that we as an automotive community, as car enthusiasts, we really need to get beyond what other people are driving, whether it's a different car, a different brand, a different type of transmission. I really think that we need to stop trashing other people based on their own personal preferences. That being said, this still has that same 6-speed automatic, and unlike the Subaru Impreza, it's an actual automatic, whereas the Impreza uses a CVT, which I'm not a huge fan of. It does get the job done, but I just find it works quite a bit better to have a traditional automatic transmission, especially with these paddle shifters up at the top, because you actually can shift into real gears, whereas with the CVT, it's not really into a gear, it's just kind of doing its little thing there. So this works a little bit better. And yes, for the purists out there who need to have a manual transmission, both cars can still be configured with a manual transmission. So if you really need to row your own gears, and if you really need to trash other people that don't, then you have that option to do so. Now, obviously, the main technical difference between these cars is the all-wheel drive system. Mazda only has front-wheel drive, and you do feel it, especially going through snow and ice. It really is much nicer and much easier to do so in the Subaru. But the Mazda 3 isn't a bad vehicle, especially if you don't need to have all-wheel drive, or if you're not going to be doing a lot of winter driving. But even so, if you are doing a lot of winter driving, we see lots of these cars on the road during the winter. So they are still a very preferred choice for people out here in Quebec because you do get tons of features and they are still very reliable. Now, speaking of features, the Subaru and the Mazda do have a lot of safety tech. Both of them have collision avoidance and radar cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, backup cameras with rear cross traffic alert. They just get to those tech features in a slightly different way. Mazda uses a radar shield on the front where the Mazda logo is. Subaru uses a slightly different approach. They've got two cameras up at the top, but really they work very similar ways. The difference is if your front sensor gets blocked on the Mazda, you're pretty much out of luck. Whereas with the Subaru, I mean, you could clean the windshield with the windshield wipers, and theoretically it should work. But overall, you get a lot more for the price with the Mazda.
No matter what I say, there will be plenty out there who think I'm wrong. The Subaru has a smaller engine, a different type of automatic transmission, the option for only a 5-speed manual, and the interior certainly puts function over form. These aren't bad things for most Subaru buyers because they're looking for reliability, safety, and all-wheel drive control over bells and whistles. The Subaru fills the need in a very niche market by offering an affordable sedan with all-wheel drive, and they're very successful at that. If you want a solid car and live somewhere like we do, where the roads aren't great and the winters are harsh, then the Subaru Impreza is a fantastic choice for you. But it's not the choice for me. I loved the Mazda 3 when we drove it before, and I still loved it when we filmed this showdown. Sure, having all-wheel drive gives you added control in winter, but it's not like turning on God mode in your favorite video game. It doesn't make you invincible during a snowstorm, and won't save you when you fly off the road into a ditch. While we didn't have the chance to drive the Subaru Impreza Sport Tech with leather seating, navigation, and the Harman Kardon audio system, the interior design still doesn't win me over in comparison to the handsome cabin found on the Mazda 3. It gets so many things right, offers plenty of choice for customers, and Mazda has also evolved to meet the needs of their customers. Subaru's one-engine option and dated 5-speed manual transmission doesn't win any favors, considering even Kia's base model Rio gives you that 6th manual gear at almost half the price. This isn't an opportunity for me to trash Subaru though, even though the die-hard enthusiasts might feel that way. The Impreza is a newer generation than the Mazda 3, although the Mazda did get a facelift during the same year this new Impreza hit the market. It feels older than the Mazda. The two major pluses for the Subaru is all-wheel drive and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto support. The Mazda, on the other hand, has a more affordable price point when fully loaded, and in my opinion looks better inside and out while offering more modern technologies to buyers. I'd take the Mazda 3 despite it being front-wheel drive only, because it's the driver that matters more than the drivetrain, and being smart in the snow is more important than how many wheels push you forward. But I know many will disagree, and that's the point of our showdowns. We show what's different between competing vehicles and offer our opinion about them. Without an opinion, this would just be an advertisement. Thanks for watching this episode of Test Drive Showdown on the 2018 Subaru Impreza Sport and the 2018 Mazda 3 GT. Your support helps make this show possible, so please consider giving us a thumbs up and commenting your thoughts on this video. Sharing on social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, or Reddit help us grow our audience, and with more viewers, we could do more with Test Drive. You can follow Perpetual Radio on Facebook and Twitter, or follow me directly on Twitter and Instagram as @NileLivesey to see what we're driving and doing in the world of cars and tech. Until next time, take care.